Hello, everybody. Welcome in Bulgaria. My name is Dritan. It's my first time here in Bulgaria, and I'm enjoying very much your city. It's a very beautiful city. Actually, I'm coming from Tirana, Albania, and as you are going to see through our presentation, we are running an internet service provider business based on Mikrotik only. I'll try to finish on time just because we are before the lunch, so I don't think if it is good or bad to be before lunch, but I will try to be on time and tell my story without taking too much of your next moments. So the idea is that we are what we are going to show is that we build an internet service provider based on Mikrotik devices. Why this is important is because when we speak for Mikrotik, we usually focus on technical things, but in my case, a part of solving a lot of technical issue using Mikrotik, we actually build a total business from scratch. So for some people this might be interesting because it can see integration in all levels and can see how we manage to solve all technical problems that are coming in such a business. As a content, we are going to focus on what you see over there. Actually, we are going to speak a little bit for the business profile of Starnet. We are going to speak a little bit for my professional profile, how everything started, how we got to know Mikrotik, actual structure of our network in the CPE part, tower infrastructure, backbone, and core. General infrastructure based on Mikrotik and make from Mikrotik hardware and software partners. Project based on Mikrotik, training, and Mikrotik Academy. So it looks a little bit long, but we are going to manage it very, very soon. So who is who? Initially, I've started a business on telecommunication with a company called Starsat. For those that know about satellite communication. We have started as a satellite-based company. We have done projects based on satellite communication, offering internet and data communication all over Albania. Starnet started in January 2014. In total, we are 17 years in the telecommunication fields, 7 years providing wireless service as a wireless internet service provider. We are registered in RIPE with the AS number 6034. Actually, we are 20 people working, focused on 5 different areas of Albania. Our partners, of course, right now, our major partner is Mikrotik. Splinx is another software vendor that is it's providing for us the billing and the billing software. Actually, Splinx is a company under Made for Mikrotik menu that you can find in Mikrotik website. Hotspot Network Manager is a Italian vendor that is providing for us a software that is managing the hotspot networks. OpenSky is an Italian company as well that is providing for us satellite backbone whenever we need for data and internet. And RF Element is a Slovakian company that is producing antennas for Mikrotik and other vendors for the wireless networks. So, briefly, my professional profile. I have studied mathematics. I should have been math teacher, but this is a project already gone, so I never did that. As I mentioned before, I've been involved in business of telecommunications since 2000. I am founder of my first company called Starsat since 2003 and Starnet since 2014. already have some Mikrotik certification like network associate, router engineering, traffic engineering, and internet working engineering. As well, I am an academy trainer. How everything started. Initially, we started with satellite communication back in 2003. In the time, we have to provide communication in many areas in Albania, and since Albania is a country that is coming from the post-communism, we have very areas that have no infrastructure at all. So basically, we offered satellite communication in those areas. After working for some years in those areas, we understood that the market have a lot of needs for telecommunications. So we make a detailed analysis what are the needs of telecommunication need of the market and where we can fit on this market. So in the time, we thought that providing internet in rural and underserved areas could be a long-term project when we can benefit. So in the time, we was looking around on technologies that we can fulfill our plan. So we come across to Mikrotik. I don't know how fast Mikrotik have been here in Bulgaria, but for example, for the Albanian part, Mikrotik have been very much in the news since 2000. For you that know some history of Mikrotik, in 2000, Mikrotik have tested the 800.1b protocol in Kosovo. So Mikrotik was very much well known in that area. So we started working with Mikrotik basically. So I remember like yesterday when we made the first Mikrotik router out of PC with 2 network cards. I believe many of you have done this in the beginning. So when we started to work in the rural and underserved areas, we started with 2 RouterBoard 1200. Actually, it's very important to say that those 2 routers are still working and operational. That says something for the long life of the Mikrotik devices. Since the beginning, I've been visiting Mikrotik user meetings like this one right now. Apart of the fact that you are going to hear this many times, personally, I've been very much influenced by Mikrotik user meetings. I've followed them since 2011 in Budapest, later in Poland, and many other Mikrotik user meetings in Europe. One of those Mikrotik user meetings have been 5 years ago in Venice, Italy, with more than 1,200 people. In the time, as a visitor, I've been interviewed by somebody. Later on, I understood that this interview have been used for publications and for promoting. But personally, I believe what I've said 5 years ago in this Mikrotik user meeting. Actually, this video was showed during the preparation of this event. And this is a video taken five years ago in Italy. I don't know if there is audio or not, but it's not important. So this is a moment in Italy, and I am saying something that this is Mikrotik user meetings are one-stop shop concept when we can see what's going around Mikrotik. So this is some elements that worked for us. Initially, although we believed that it was a very good idea, finances was not there. So what we did, we financed this project based on the profits that we was making with other projects. As I told you in the beginning, we had a lot of satellite-based projects. Usually, we was sure because we knew from the very first beginning that we was addressing a real need. And this real need was targeted very, very well. Of course, being in business for some time, I was clear that we should generate profit. Otherwise, we was just keep solving technical problems, but not making business. Of course, being focused on a target make it very important. Actually, from the very first beginning till now, we are focused on the rural and underserved areas. Doing some project in the city, but not that much. Why? Just because keeping focus make you stronger and make you more agile when we want to take decisions. And of course, one of the most important advice that we can give from our experience is that as regards to networks and configuration, it's better to keep it simple and get detailed on optimization. I mean, when a network grows, it's very difficult to keep track what you have configured somewhere and what you have configured somewhere else. So it's better to keep it simple, to keep some standard configuration and get very detailed optimization on those configurations. Actually, we are giving services in two major areas. This is a map of Albania. Albania in the map look like this. We use almost 100% of our equipment are Mikrotik, except some switches. About 5,000 devices are actually online and monitored in our monitoring system. About 3,000 CPs are installed to the customer premises, not including here the indoor routers and access points. More than 1,000 equipments are part of the backbone and towers. Usually, this is our network that it's growing, and we have to maintain it, replacing equipment every time that we need, or upgrading the routers when the capacity grows, and so on. Customer premise equipment, actually, as you heard from the first presentation of Mikrotik have more than 200 products. So using the Mikrotik portfolio of products is its experience on its own. So basically, you have to be very, very careful what you are choosing in different scenarios. Of course, there are a lot of choices, but choices are based on the situation or work situation. And when you for every one of us that have experience in the field deployment, we have to know that every case is different. Usually, the most well-known devices that we use in the customer premises are SXTs, SXT square, and SXT disks. Of course, for longer distances, we use grid antennas and LDF with a satellite dish and so on. General configuration, in every customer premises, we apply PPPoE. We configure our wireless network on network NV2 protocol. That is a proprietary protocol of Mikrotik. And of course, as an advice that we apply, we are very, very careful in the frequency selection and monitoring of the signal. The second presentation done by Peter was based on Dude. Actually, we have used Dude from the very first beginning. And what is nice of Dude is that Dude is a free software offered from Mikrotik that can monitor and give you many, many details. Actually, it's a very good tool that can be configured and come in help of good service and good technical application. When the network grows and you have to do a lot of things, Mikrotik is coming in help with scripts. Scripts can be applied for configuration and reporting. So you saw that some scripts was applied in previous presentations. So we use scripts usually for updating when every new updates come online, or when we want to get reports if something is going wrong in our network and so on. In wireless infrastructure, tower is something very, very important. Tower, usually it's tower infrastructure is something that have to be selected carefully, because based on the infrastructure that you install and maintain in tower, usually it's guaranteeing the stability and is giving you the quality of service and quality of experience in the customer sides. I'm going to show you some tower infrastructure and some of our best experiences. Of course, access point configuration and practices that we are using are not very difficult. Of course, what is nice to say about Mikrotik is that Mikrotik, since it is an European brand, is conform with all rules and legislations that are applied to the regulator authority for frequencies use. This is very important because sometimes we have a lot of disputes with other brands. This is a picture actually that is showing normal installation in the tower infrastructure. Actually, it is not something very descriptive, but you can see that those access points are based on Mikrotik. Actually, the antennas that looks like horn look like horn antennas actually are antennas based on a company called RF Element. As you can see, as you can see here in the picture, Mikrotik boards are full outdoor and mount on those holder in the back. Of course, everything is fully independent in the tower. This is another implementation in the tower. Again, the RF element antenna, but in this time we have used the base box. We have used the base box antenna, as you can see here, and connected with the cables, RF cables. Another implementation, for example, this is a tower mast from the mobile operators, and of course you can spot there a lot of towers in the hill, and the picture is from far, but still you can see one of our colleagues here working implementation of the tower. Since we are an ISP, we have to take care for everything. So something that we are taking very good care and taking a lot of attention is the backbone and core. I must say that Mikrotik have very, very good products for backbone. We are before Mikrotik come with its own SFPs. We was using SFPs of other brands, but as soon as SFPs of Mikrotik come in market, we are using them very successfully, and they are very, very stable and very predictable in their behavior. Actually, we are interconnected with different operators for data transmission and for internet exchange and for BGP sessions, and we use Mikrotik devices everywhere, and so far we have never have a problem or never have been judged why we are using Mikrotik. We have been very much welcome from all the operators every time that we have used Mikrotik devices. Already we are paired with 3 major operators in Albania, Vodafone Albania, Alp Telecom, and Upcom. Actually, we have one internet exchange active in Albania and another one that is coming up. Mikrotik switches are as well used from us in our core room, and actually they are performing very predictably, and since we have the knowledge, it's very easy to manage them in our day-to-day operation. In the next slides, I'm going to show you some general schematics of our network, why we have 2-3 words about why we have choose PPPoE, and our billing software. That is a software from a company that is using Mikrotik almost in many places. Schematic of our network is very simple. As I mentioned in the slides before, we are keeping the configurations simple and optimizing everything. So from left to right, actually this is the customer side. So those are the CPEs that we are using in the customer side. All CPEs are connected with the line of sight with the tower, and in the tower we have a router, usually 3011 router. Now the 4011, in some towers we have the 4011. And depend on the size of the tower, we put the right router. Here in the router tower, we enable PPPoE server, and that's it. Then from the leased line of the third-party operator, we connect to our main office. Here it is represented, our main office. And in the main office, we have the NAT router when we put NAT configuration and the firewall rules. Then through the switch, we connect with our edge router. So this is it. Of course, this is not all the network, but different direction. We have scaled our network in this way. So in different areas, this is the way how we have scaled our network. So we have used PPPoE. Why? Because PPPoE have a very good management possibility. It is widely used and widely known from many engineers, so it can be easily implemented, easily maintained. It's very good in managing the IPs. It's very good to control the session, and you can configure it with the radio server. It's very simple to maintain IP configuration, and when we have a lot of installers in the field, it's make easy for them to plan their work, because you can make the configuration simple based with their username and password. So for every customer, you have a username, password, and they can go and install. It's as well good when the customer move within the area. They don't have to move too much of configuration. Just the username and password will replicate everything. So when the customer move from one tower to another, this is very basic to do with the PPPoE server. Okay, billing is very important in an ISP. Of course, when you are small, maybe this is very easy manageable, but when you grow, things get a little bit difficult. Initially, since the funds was not available, we have started with the free radios and with the radios manager software that is used almost from any small ISP. Later on, we moved to integrated solution made by a company that is part of the list made for Mikrotik. For the ones that don't know, Mikrotik have a session in their website when all the solutions relating hardware and software that are made for Mikrotik are listed there. So there are a lot of solutions there and a lot of companies that are listed that provide solution for Mikrotik networks. So as I said, this is a solution made from Mikrotik. So a part of the fact that build all our network with Mikrotik, we stayed around this domain, and we think that we have done the right choice. So this is a dashboard of our software, our billing software. The reason that we moved here is because while we grow, we understood that we had more needs than just connecting the customer. We had needs to make right help desk procedure, the right provisioning, the right warehousing, and so on. It's very difficult to see it from there, but as you see, for example, in the menu on the left, you can see, for example, that we can manage tariff plans, we can manage finance, we can manage inventory, and so on. So basically, with the dashboard, we can see how many customers are online, how many of them are new that day, and some monitoring tools as well. Project based on Mikrotik. Okay, as you may know, hotspot is something very widely demanded lately, because hotspot is a very nice controlled way for the users in hospitality areas or in bar, cafes, hotels, and so on. So we have done some project based on hotspot networks. We can show you some configuration examples. Since we are in the satellite business, we still apply a lot of VPNs based on satellite communication. We have done some projects with other companies, and we have integrated our networks with theirs. And of course, we are using Mikrotik in fiber to the home projects as well. In the next slide, you can see a welcome portal, a logging menu for a summer project. This project has been built for Vodafone Albania. What is important to say is that Mikrotik is giving very, very much visibility on all configuration that you want to apply on the hotspots. Of course, we can build hotspots on many other vendors, but the power of a hotspot feature is very much dependent on how the platform that you are using is supporting. So, for example, if you see here, it's very good design. It's very good design, done according to the flavors of Vodafone Albania. The project actually was running in the coastline of Albania, and we was using outdoor access points. Very simple, very basic, but this was simple and basic just because we was utilizing the power of Mikrotik. Of course, the software that we are using for managing hotspots, it's another made for Mikrotik software, listed on the website of Mikrotik. It's called Hotspot Network Manager. We have done several projects with this, and we're still running some of them. For example, another project we are still running, it's a project for a pizza chain in Albania. So it's called Proper Pizza. They install Wi-Fi hotspots in every shop, and of course, this is the logging page when a customer can log either using Facebook, Instagram, and so on. The power of Mikrotik here, different from the other vendors, is that managing the configuration of Mikrotik through a controller give you a utility of generating a lot of data, something that customers like. For example, in this slide here, we can manage to get data in many formats, like who is coming, how often they are coming. You can run advertisement and so on. Training. Training is something very important for us. Why? Because we believe that through training we learn a lot. Being a director in my company, I am always pushing training ahead. Of course, training comes with a cost, but I am pro to the fact to pay the costs, then not pay the cost and have not training people. So basically, I'm very happy that Mikrotik have a structured training program. So through this training program, most of our staff have some certain certification. Usually we have benefited from the trained staff, but I must say as well that some of our trained staff have left us, but that's not a problem, just because this is a process and this is how it should be. Through influence of Dobri, that spoke before me, I've been involved in the first Mikrotik Academy in Albania. Mikrotik Academy in Albania had been started this year in university, Tirana, European University of Tirana. This is a picture from a class. This is me there, a picture from a class. So this is something that it's going very well so far. So we will see how it will going to be received from the customers, from the new students. So as a last word, you might know that Mikrotik motto is routing the world. And of course, routing the world is challenging, like a marathon. You can see me there in the picture running a marathon of Tirana last year. Of course, I was not a winner, but I did it. So that's why the marathons are done, just because everybody get involved. And in the networking marathon of routing the world, we are all winners as long as we keep running. Actually, Mikrotik team is a very supportive team and actually is cheering up for the success of every one of us. A special thanks to my team. Actually, we are a team of 20, as I mentioned, and we are very much dedicated. We are celebrating here the new year, and the spirit of the team is very much connected with what we do daily. If you can spot from the picture there, you can see that we have a cake based on a telecommunication tower, you know. So thank you very much again, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. If you have any question, I will be here around. So now it's time for.
Okay, thank you, Dritan, for your presentation. Now.